Bowen and Bowie Jane.
Hello, it's Bowie Jane and Jess Bowen for Babes Behind the Beats. And g'day, Jess. How's it going?
Hey, Bowie. It's going well. I think I'm still kind of recovering from your birthday.
Yeah, so my voice is literally husky. You did have the drum kit out. I made you get out, and I was screaming, and we're doing rock songs, so I have no voice still from that.
Yes, you're right. So at the end of the night, we were basically playing karaoke with my drums and you singing over my, electronic drums. So we weren't like at midnight blasting my real drums in an apartment complex, but it was still loud.
Yeah, I think it was. And today we have Chrissy Costanza. You know Chrissy, right?
I do. So Chrissy and I go back maybe even almost 10 years now, I would think, because our bands did a lot of tours together and festivals. Just been running around in the same music circles for a long time. So I'm really excited to talk to her because she's hosts like her own show right now. It's like a gaming show. So I'm interested to talk to her. She just moved out to LA recently from New York. So I'm excited to just ask her about all these things and see what she's been up to because it's been a while. I haven't seen her in like a year.
Yeah, I can't wait to chat to her about that and also find out what she has been doing because I think she's started the gaming show she's the host of that because of quarantine. So it's just interesting. Everyone's taking a few little different twists in their career because of lockdown. So yeah, can't wait to chat to her and we will be chatting to her next.
Perfect.
Hello, it is Bowie Jane and Jess Bowen on Babes Behind the Beats, and today we have Chrissy Costanza, who is an amazing singer-songwriter and musician, best known as lead singer of the band Against the Current, who has also performed at Lollapalooza, Reading Festival, Rock am Ring, and so much more. Welcome, Chrissy!
Woo!
What's up, Chrissy?
Make me sound a lot cooler than I am. I like the intro.
Oh my God, you are really fucking cool. Are you kidding?
I want that intro wherever I go. I don't know when we met.
I don't know. We've known each other for
But we haven't seen each other in a while because the last time we saw each other was last year at Lala.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Lollapalooza last year, which Bowie mentioned that you guys played, and
Yeah.
I was playing with Tessa Violet, and you and I got to catch up. And
Which is so ironic now because then a month later, Tessa's management started managing Against Current.
that's right.
So it all came full circle.
It is full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Against the Current is managed by Gabe and Tag.
Yeah,
I
Tag, yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Because we had Tessa in, so...
Yeah.
Way,
Yeah. Tessa's been here, of course. We played on the
So,
same stage right after
like
you.
back to back. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, I wanted to be familiar. I knew I had met Gabe twice at that point because he was just always around a lot of like the Fueled By Ramen people and like the New York circle of like music industry people. But I didn't really know him. So like I didn't see him that day or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then it was like a few weeks later that the head of our label was like, we were doing a manager search and we had almost signed with someone else. And then the head of our label, Mike Easterlin, was like, I think before you make any decisions, you should sit down with Gabe Supporta. Even if it doesn't work out as you guys working together, I think you would just really vibe well together and that you have a similar thought process and very similar mentalities. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
And I just remember Gabe because Gabe was drunk at one of our first shows ever after we signed to FBR. And that was like how we met. So I was like, sure. But we ended up having like a 4-hour dinner. 2 hours he interrogated me for, which was very different than any other management conversation I had had thus far. I was like, wait, who's hiring who here? Like, what's going on?
Interrogated.
He literally, for the first 2 hours, interrogated me. And I was prepared for, like, every other manager showed up and they gave their pitch about everything they've done, all their accolades. Here's my highlight reel, and I'm going to make you a big star at the end. And I was like, okay, cool, great.
Sounds good.
And
Make you a
it
star in the
was
end.
so the opposite. He was like digging so deeper than most of my friends have ever gotten with me, and I was just like, "Is this what therapy's like? Is that what I was supposed to be doing today? Like, what's going on?"
I love that won you over, though, too. Then you were like,
I
this
loved
is
it.
the guy. I loved being interrogated.
Well, because it kind of like was a red flag to me that no one else had asked anything about the band or like my vision for it or anything like that, because I was, how do you know that you can manage well if you don't know what it is?
Yeah.
So
So
the
the dynamics and 'cause how long has your band been together?
We're going on 10 years.
Wow.
Next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
you
okay, a
started
few years
young.
don't count. Like, because we were literally just like dicking around in Will's basement, like not really doing anything. But
yeah, but it
like,
counts.
Still.
I think it still
Yeah.
counts because that means you've been doing the process for
Those
10
were
years.
The growing pain years.
Of course, yeah, that's what happens. But
next summer it'll be 10.
10 years.
Wow. And so what was the journey for you guys? Apart from you messing around, were you
Yeah.
writing music straight away or you were, what was the process?
I was the amateur hour in the band because Dan and Will had been in bands since they were 9 years old together.
Oh, wow.
So Dan moved from Vermont to Poughkeepsie, New York, and he was only like 2 blocks away from Will, and they went to school together. And Will is just like so musically inclined, and Dan was like getting really into Green Day and stuff, and Will was like, pick up a guitar. And so Dan did, and they started a band when they were like 9 years old. And they had like many bands throughout the years. And then I joined when I was 15, and I had never been in a band. I had very little experience. I had been writing my own songs since I was 9, because that's when I got my first guitar, but they were terrible. I was full on following the Taylor Swift model where it's like 4 chords can get you everywhere.
Yeah. It can.
And it was great.
Yeah.
But it didn't have, Taylor Swift already was, you know? And like, I didn't have any of the country charm, or I wasn't like a singer-songwriter-y type person. I remember being 12 and telling my guitar teacher I wanted to learn this Dance Gavin Dance song, and like him having to ask my mom because of like how explicit it was.
Yeah.
And so I was just kind of like, didn't know where I fit in. And then when I joined the band, it made a whole lot more sense. I was like,
Yeah,
here
what
we
kind
are.
of music were you doing from, like, what style? But right at the start.
For the band?
Yeah.
It's always been kind of in that pop rock world.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also helped that my drummer, Will, his older brother, Mike, was in We Are the In Crowd. So we grew up with In Crowd also practicing in the same basement and seeing that, hearing about all the bands that they were peers with and friends with. And so it gave us like a very good frame of reference right off the bat.
So did you specifically always know that you wanted to be kind of in that genre? Or like when you picked up a guitar at 9 years old, like what were like your influences? Was it kind of that, or was it different?
So at first it was, honestly, did love Taylor Swift just because there were the easiest songs to play.
Taylor Swift is great, especially the early days of Taylor
I love
Swift.
her. But it's like, that wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, but that was what I could get to. And so my mom had been friends with this guy. This is such a weird sounding story, but my mom had been friends with this guy since she was 6 years old. They went to elementary school together, and he had a son, Julius. He actually passed away a few years ago. He was in bands, and when I think I was 10 or 11 the first time I saw him, he was playing guitar and doing like Dashboard covers, that kind of cool stuff. And there was a video of him playing live doing an Ocean Avenue cover, and he was in a band, and he would be shoeless and shirtless on stage, like swinging his microphone with the skater boy hair. And I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I saw him for the first time when I was like 13 live, and it was like 30 people in a repurposed abandoned firehouse. And like, you're thinking about that now everywhere I've been in my career, like now, like thinking about playing to 30 people in a firehouse that didn't even have a PA, like probably sounds like a nightmare. But at the time I was like, this is the peak. Like, this is it. Like, this is what I want out of life. And so immediately I was like, that's it. I want to be in a band. So, and then I found Against Current 2 years later.
Wow.
That's so cool. So you mentioned Dance Gavin Dance. You've mentioned Dashboard Confessional, Ocean Avenue by Yellow Card.
Yeah.
So you were kind of already in that pop punk realm of like music that you loved. And
I grew up on like classic rock from my mom.
Okay.
And then, so I just like, I loved rock stars. Even my dad's influence were people like Sinatra and Frankie Valli and Dean Martin. Sinatra, like, when he gets on stage, he was a rock star, you know? Like, I loved that energy, I think it was. And even the pop stars of that time, like the Madonnas. I just loved that. A little bit of the overdramatics, the edge. I loved No Doubt. I fell in love with No Doubt so heavily. But then, as I discovered the things that were happening now, I remember being 14 and hearing about Paramore for the first time and being like, girls can do it. I'm in. Like, I'm sold, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because at that point, until I was 14, the only reference I had was No Doubt.
right.
So,
With like a kind of like that band with the female like
aside
power.
from like Pat Benatar, but it's like in Heart, but that was gone by then.
Exactly. And when you're thinking like band, not just like a female front, like obviously Pat Benatar, everyone knows who Pat Benatar is, but like when you're like in a band and being that female that's fronting it, like you said, Paramore.
Yeah.
Great example. She's got that pop star energy, you know, controlling everything, but you know, it's a band at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I loved. And then, like I said, until I was 14, I only really knew No Doubt and then like the classic female rock stars. So like when I was like, oh wait, there's someone doing this like right now, I was like, this is fucking sick. I'm in, like, let's go. Like, I'm ready. Like, take me now, you know? So
that is awesome. So you mentioned finding Will and Dan. You guys started the band together when you were 15. So what from there ended up happening? I know that you yourself have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Did that start after then that you started the band stuff?
Yeah, so it is weird. Somehow it is like a really popular misconception around Against the Current that I started on YouTube before the band. So I started on MySpace before the band. It's dead and gone. You can't find it. But there was only one song on there anyway. But I didn't start my YouTube until after the band started on YouTube. So I don't remember how far along it was. I think it must have just been like maybe I think it was a year into being a band is when we wrote, I think it was 2012, July 2012 maybe, that we were ready to release our first song. It was called Thinking. And at the time, our manager also managed a really popular YouTube artist. And it was during kind of that like Gen 1, Gen 2 YouTube cover artist phase where there was a group of really big names. There wasn't everybody and anybody doing a cover. It's like here were the YouTube cover artists, and he was part of that kind of group. His name was Alex Goot. He's not dead. He's very much still alive.
His name is Alex Goot.
His name is Alex Goot.
Was and is.
Yeah. So he was getting millions of videos, and it was at the time too where making like the front page of YouTube was a really big deal, and he would always make the front page. And so when we were ready to release our first song, I think we just released it either as a lyric video or just like an audio video. There wasn't a music video. Our manager suggested, why don't we do a cover with Alex that release it the same day? That way it'll drive traffic back from his channel to check out the song, because we were a bunch of kids in Will's basement. How was anyone going to find the song other than, friends and family? And we were like, cool, that sounds great. So we actually released our first YouTube cover the same day that we released our first original song. So it wasn't a chicken egg situation.
Wow.
It happened simultaneously.
And so it was because your manager at the time was managing a YouTube already kind of...
That's where we got the connect. And also Alex was from Poughkeepsie. It was like a hometown circle type thing. Like he knew a lot of the local bands and had grown up with everybody in the area, local crew, and like going to the Loft, the Chance, which is the local.
I remember playing the Chance. Oh yeah.
Did you not play the Loft?
We played the Loft. Upstairs where you had to drag all of your equipment up these stairs to play.
Where is this? Because I'm an Aussie.
Poughkeepsie, New York.
Poughkeepsie, New York.
All
yeah.
right.
So this was a very well known where all of our like kind of, I would say, scene bands, I guess at the time would play. And so when you're on tour and kind of starting out, you play in the Loft, which is you got to drag
a loft.
Your gear upstairs. It's a loft.
Nightmare.
And it's a nightmare. I mean, it's it's not a little amount of stairs. It's a long way up. They're very steep.
Shit time to be a drummer.
It was awful. Shit time to be a drummer and to not have a drum tech.
Also,
then.
it was a shit time to be like religiously into having real cabs.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because like now everyone's got Kempers. Everyone's like, who cares? Like no one even cares if you have dummies now. Everyone's just empty stage.
Empty stage, right?
We're minimalist
but
now.
Then it was like you got to have the biggest cabs.
I have to have a full stack.
Yes.
Why?
Right. Oh my God, totally. And so everyone's like having to like figure how to get their shit up to that
and everyone's
stage.
like 10 years old. Well, not 10, but like
it's like when everyone
10.
starts out, right?
Basically
and 10. Also, the stage doesn't even fit. Why was everyone wanting to bring their huge like it's when we say you're playing a loft, it's also like the stage is like
it was in the corner.
In a corner, not even really lifted off the ground, and it's like you can't fit shit on that stage.
Wow. We have to find photos of it.
Yeah, you definitely can. In the early days of being a band, how you get these like little like janky things that you think are like so cool.
Yeah.
Mine was I zebra tape duct taped my microphone stand, and I was like, I am edgy. I am so cool right now.
Look at this mic stand. I'm fucking cool.
Yeah, it is zebra. Like I was so excited about it. I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever done. And now in retrospect, I'm like, why did I do that?
And that was the only thing you had to lug up those stairs.
Yeah, I'm like, no, but I was so. I've always been the tomboy. I've always been friends with all the boys, so I was like, I can carry a fucking amp up the stairs.
Right.
Like, I got this. Meanwhile, just in the back. But yeah, to this day, I'm that way. If I get through like security, like at an airport before the rest of my band, and the Pellies are already coming out at baggage claim, I'm like lugging them off myself. They're like 70 pounds.
But you're strong. You're strong.
Tiny but mighty.
So with the YouTube, did it end up driving traffic? Did that work?
Oh, yeah.
That tactic?
It worked better than we expected it to. Like the video like blew up and got like millions of views like overnight. Like it was something that no one expected. It ended up being the most viewed video on his channel. I don't know if it still is to this day. And he was doing collabs with other huge YouTube cover artists. So it was like a weird thing.
Wow.
It just was super weird. And then we were like, maybe this is an anomaly. This is a one-time thing. And then we did another cover and it also blew up. And then
a cover with him as well, or no?
With him, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then we did a cover with this other YouTube cover artist, Kurt, who's still doing it to this day. He's killing it. And that really blew up. We have one that's approaching 200 million views.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, crazy. And the funny thing is I walked away that day being like, damn, I really like didn't do that well today. Like this one's not that good. But,
Yeah.
and it was like a weird Justin Bieber single that no one remembers exists, Beauty and a Beat. And it literally got so many views and it was on the front page of YouTube. And it was such a weird experience because I was in high school at the time. I went to an all-girls Catholic high school, uniforms, which is so off-brand for me. Like literally could not be more off-brand for me. Like I said, 100% one of the dudes. Like, so for me, I was just like, luckily my best friend out of high school was like the same way.
Yeah.
So the two of us were just like complete fish out of water in the school. And I just remember walking in one day, it was like my senior year, and that video I'd made the front page. And like my whole thing was just like, let's just finish this year. And like, then you can go on tour and like, let's just blend in. And then everyone was like, Chrissy, I saw you on the front page of YouTube last night. And I was like, who, me? No, couldn't have been.
Oh my God. Did everyone want to be friends with you all of a sudden?
I don't think so. I still think they were like, that chick's fucking weird. But I had like seen bangs and like they knew I was in a band and like that was not cool in like an all girls high school. Like it wasn't a cool thing to be a girl in a band. It wasn't like, yo, she's badass. It was like, she's super strange, you know? I was like below school band
No
kids.
way.
Yeah, I was bottom tier. Yeah.
That's crazy.
You know, when you go to an all-girl school, everyone's kind of doing their own thing, so it's not too much like popular, not popular. But like, I literally didn't even have like a group. Like, everyone had their groups. I had no group. Like, I was just like a little floater, like just.
Well, because you had your own stuff going on outside school. I was the same,
Oh, yeah.
really. Like, I was doing a lot of other stuff, and you would have been the same.
Yeah, it sounds like you were obviously, more focused on already at that young of an age, probably like a career and doing something, which is why it was, who cares about what's going on in high school? Who cares about the popular group or the not popular group, right? Like,
Yeah. I also didn't drink at all in high school. That takes away like, 3/4 of your social opportunity.
Yeah.
So I was like the one that was dragging the girl that got way too drunk away from the bad situation.
Right.
I literally remember, and I will never forget it, why I stopped going to parties is because I was with a bunch of kids and we went quote unquote bowling. It was actually like, let's drink vodka and get high in the back of a bowling alley. And I was just sitting there like minding my own business, and this girl got way too drunk. I had to like drag her like a mile to go to a Dunkin' Donuts so she could pee because like the bowling alley was closed at this point. And I like put her in the bathroom and I'm like, do your thing. And then she's just like, can you wipe me? And I was like, nope, I'm done. I'm done.
Can you wipe
And then literally an hour later, she like took a dump behind a dumpster. And we were just like, I don't want to be that. Like, I don't want to be asking people to wipe me at Dunkin' Donuts at 1 a.m. Like, freaked out by that. I mean, like, obviously I drink and stuff now, but now I realized it's not, you're either sober or you're, you know, hanging on by a thread.
In the middle.
Yeah.
But at the time, everyone did the extreme in high school. So you don't know that. Like, in your head, you're just like, if you literally smell alcohol, you're gonna get wasted. So I was just like, obviously, like, you know, I like tried, like everyone was like, try it. And I like took like a sip of like vodka out of a water bottle. It was like Majorska, like $10. Like, so
You're like, why would anyone like this?
I took a sip and I was just like, this is disgusting. Like, what's going on? I don't get it. And so I just want to go eat and like get a pizza.
Yeah.
So, Chrissy,
I nailed it.
because I'm having a little tongue twist today with Christy and Chrissy.
It's the accent.
For
It's the
anyone,
accent.
if I do slip up today. But I'm just wondering, so it's pretty amazing you even had a manager who was doing all these YouTube things. How did that happen that you got a manager?
Yeah, we lucked out. My drummer, Will, his older brother, managed us.
Oh,
and he
cool.
was managing Alex at the time. So it was kind of like an I'll help you guys out type thing, like a really informal agreement. And that worked really well for a while. That was a nice way to kickstart it because there was definitely a lot of road bumps. I think a lot of local bands probably hit that we were able to kind of navigate around because we had someone that had experience in his own band, but also in managing a YouTube artist and just being very perceptive of the industry. So it was really helpful for us early on.
Yeah, and did he help you get signed or?
Yeah, he was there when we got signed for sure. I remember that was a really cool experience. It felt really surreal. We had sold out a show at Webster Hall in New York, which was, I think it was a 500 cap at the time, the studio, Webster Hall. I don't know if it's changed now that they remodeled the whole venue.
I know it went through a remodeling, but it was the studio.
It was the studio. It was when there was the 3 venues.
Yeah.
So it was the studio, the smallest
small
one. So we
one.
were unsigned. We had released 1 EP, and we sold out 500 cap at that venue, which was, you know, for an unsigned band was like really cool.
Amazing.
But that, I guess, attracted the attention of some labels, because I think there's, especially in New York, there's like a few venues that if like an unsigned artist is selling it out or getting close to selling it out, the labels probably just have like their hands on that kind of thing. So I remember Mike Easterlin and Pete Gambarg from Atlantic and Fueled by Ramen came, and they came and watched the show, and they reached out to us, and yeah, it kind of went from there. They weren't our only offer, but we fell in love with Fueled By. We fell in love with the people there. We fell in love with like the community. They were also East Coast. We felt like very at home there. We felt like they had similar mentalities and work ethics, and we were just really like attracted to the whole spirit of the label. So that was really cool. And then at 19 we signed. So
and for
really
those who don't know, Fueled by Ramen, that's under Atlantic or Warner, or
it was under Atlantic under Warner. So it was like Warner was like the big daddy, and then Atlantic under it, and then Fueled by under Atlantic. But now Fueled by is running parallel to Atlantic as part of Elektra Music Group. Elektra took on like Fueled By. I think they took on Roadrunner. They already had Elektra artists.
Yeah.
So they kind of, instead of having all of these little labels, they kind of grouped up and made Elektra Music Group so they could get more full-time people, because a lot of our people at the time were Atlantic people. So we would have our A&R was Atlantic, our international people were Atlantic, some of our marketing was Atlantic, but like our product manager would be Fueled By. So I think as a way to like better organize things, especially because Atlantic is like a much more heavier into the urban, R&B, rap, like all those kind of worlds. They formed Elektra Music Group to kind of house Fueled By, Roadrunner, the Elektra artists that pre-existed, and then I think there was another label that joined in on that too. But yeah, so we're under Warner. So then in the UK, we're Elektra, but then like in Asia, it's Warner. But at the time, it was confusing because no matter where we went, it was like different. UK was Atlantic, and like it was Warner in Germany, but then Atlantic in another country, and then
it gets
Warner
confusing.
People would ask like, "What label are you on?" And I'd be like, "Well, there's 3."
Yeah. And speaking of which, you guys very massive in Asia, correct?
We do good things in Asia.
You do good things in Asia.
I love Asia.
So on Asia,
we love Asia.
Yeah,
yes,
it's the best.
I mean, we already talked about this before, but we love Japan specifically.
Oh,
Japan.
I love Japan.
It's like our favorite country to go to.
It's the best.
And she's half Philippine.
Well, I'm half Filipino, but
love the Philippines.
Yeah, and wait, did we did not play the Philippines together?
We did not.
No.
Did you do that with InCrowd?
We actually did that with InCrowd. Now that I'm thinking about it, which was Mike, her managers at the time.
It's a very similar silhouette, like of the band. So it's like it's easy.
Because I was like,
even though they were 5 and we were 3, but
yeah, exactly. There was 5 of them and 3 of you guys, but you guys did play the Philippines a bunch, right?
Yes, we played a bunch. Yeah, we did one of those the crazy mall shows, like the crazy mall meet and greet.
I've seen footage of her.
Those mall meet and greets are insane.
I had like scratches on my arms once because from one of them. Yeah, because people were grabbing. Yeah,
remember I showed you the footage? Like I saw the literally footage. People are screaming, trying to grab you.
Literally, just like a wave of people are just whoosh, crashing on top of you.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
I just remember like the security, one of the security that was with us, just like putting his head, like his hand so firmly on the back of my head and pushing my head down.
Yeah,
and I was like, this seems unnecessary. And like 2 seconds later, a hand was like, I was like, okay, I needed to do that because it would have literally punched me in the face by accident.
Wow,
it's crazy. They have to give you a bunch of. They're so passionate.
Yeah,
like,
I love that.
and that's great. I love playing in the Philippines.
I felt like the Beatles.
That's what I say.
It was like Beatlemania. I was like, this happens all the time here.
That's why I always say like the Philippines is the best place to play because you will feel like the biggest artist in the world.
Yeah,
like
you feel so good,
and they put you up in the best hotels. You get the best treatment.
Amazing.
The shows are all sold out, and you're playing to thousands upon thousands of people. It's the best place to play.
Did you do Korea? Because obviously we know K-pop's huge. It's not that you're K-pop.
I love Korea. I love K-pop.
Where'd you play in Korea?
In Seoul.
In Seoul. Did you do a festival?
We did one festival. It was called Pentaport Rock. It was actually technically in Incheon, but like they're very like they're right next to each other.
Okay.
So like the airport is in Incheon technically, like the Seoul airport. So we did one festival, but then we've done a bunch of headliners as well there. So last year we actually did a festival in Seoul, and then my photographer Beth and I decided to take a vacation to Japan. So we went to Japan for like a week.
Nice.
Like just for fun. And I'm so glad we did that now because like now no one's traveling.
Yeah.
And it's something that I would have always put off. I would always say like, oh, I'll do it next year. And like, I'm so glad we did it now.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. But yeah, we've been all over. We've been to obviously the Philippines, Korea, Japan. We've also been to Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia,
China,
Thailand, China. I've been to a bunch in China. I've been to Beijing, Shanghai, And we did like some performing with this video game League of Legends. We performed at their World ceremony, which was in Beijing.
Oh.
So that was cool because we got to perform in the Olympic Stadium, which was super
God.
dope. Yeah.
Wow. So that would have been incredible performance.
It was crazy, like walking into the stadium the first day and just like my jaw dropped. I was like, this is so big. I was like, I don't usually get like stage fright or anything, but I was like getting a little trembly. I was like, oh my God, going to be so many people. It was empty at the time, obviously.
So was that one of those things that it was sold out? Like you played for like,
yeah.
a huge... That's crazy.
It was like 50,000 people in person, and the stadium could hold a lot more. It was just like something with China's regulations on like floor seating. It was very spread out on the floor, but then obviously all the things were filled. But then it live streamed to like tens of millions of people. I think it like live streamed to almost 100 million people.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
Actually, that leads me to ask, because this was for gaming, right?
Yeah, this was for this video game called League of Legends.
Yeah, and you're a gamer.
Yes.
Now, I'm not a gamer. Jesse, you're a gamer.
I'm not a gamer. I mean, I played video games when I was younger. Tell us about got into that.
Yeah, so I've been gaming since I was like little. I think I got my first CD-ROM when I was like 4. So I've always, and like I grew up on Nintendo. I loved my GameCube. I loved all my Game Boys. But I started playing League of Legends because of actually Alex Goot and his whole circle. They all play this game called League of Legends. Super nerdy game, super high. It's hard to get into it. It takes a while to become like a base level player. Mm-hmm. So the barrier for entry is very large, but because I had so many people that were playing it around me, I was like, I want in. Like I felt really left out. So I just kind of played it, and eventually I like figured it out and like fell in love with it. And then a few years later, they offered Against the Current to cut a demo of the world song. Oh. And I had no idea, but so I loved the game. I had no idea the size of the esports community yet. So I just knew the game and like that my friends played the game, and you know, I had a good time doing that. I didn't realize like how massive the community was behind the game until like they approached about Worlds, and I was like, what do you mean what's Worlds? And then they're showing us and they're pulling up videos of the opening ceremony from 2014 where Imagine Dragons performed.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, and
but
so they
knew
did the
you
song.
played it then? Like, is that why you got offered it?
And then we did it 2017, and then they asked me back 2019. And so, and I was really, really stoked on that because I'm the first artist that's done 2 anthems.
Oh my God.
Yeah, one was Against the Current though, and the second one was as Chrissy. It was because it was a duo with another female artist. But it was just so cool to be back again. And that one was in Paris, so it was awesome. I ate a lot of brie.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So much brie.
Oh
brie. Who doesn't love brie? I
love cheese.
We love cheese.
My stomach doesn't love cheese, but emotionally I love cheese.
I love a good charcuterie board.
Yes. With some olives, some figs, some
salami.
Love it. I'm Italian, so like,
Costanza.
we antipasto like. We love it.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm speaking to an expert.
Yeah. We love it. Like that's like the highlight of like my family's Christmas still is just the appetizers and the antipasto. And then it's like we'll have 1 or 2 things as the entree, but like literally everyone gets filled up every year on the appetizers.
Appetizer.
Apps.
What we love.
Yes.
Hey.
We love apps.
Speaking of gaming, you're actually hosting a gaming show, is that right?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, so tell us about that, and where is it? How did that come about?
Yeah, so after doing two worlds for League of Legends, I've gotten so many friends in the industry and like the gaming industry, and I game every night, and I game with so many friends, and you know, it's just such a cool community. I love it. And someone that worked at Riot, which is the company that owns League of Legends, started a TV network called VENN, and it's intended to be this cross-section of gaming and pop culture, kind of like how MTV was a cross-section of music and pop culture. It's meant to be pop culture through the lens of gaming though. Mm-hmm. So like maybe it's more focused on like anime and like street style and things like that when it comes to like the pop culture things, and like the K-pop really tapped into K-pop.
Yeah.
So I had actually spoken to Ariel, who is the founder of the company, back in November at the after party for League of Legends Worlds 2019. And he was telling me that he was starting this network, and it was literally in infancy at that point.
Pretty amazing.
And that he wanted to be involved in some capacity, maybe just be in some like the brainstorming focus groups or something like that. And I'm thinking like, oh yeah, maybe Against the Current will perform on it because he's telling me there's going to be a stage, and I was like, that'd be cool. And I didn't expect them to like offer me just a whole ass show. Yeah. So, and then
how long ago was that you got offered a show?
Well, I think we started talking about it in I want to say it was March.
Wow.
Maybe February. It was one of those things, though, where the timing was like horrible and perfect at the same time because obviously it was mid-pandemic and, you know, the pandemic was starting and originally the studio was supposed to be in New York and then the production got delayed because of Corona. So then the LA studio was ready, but the New York wasn't. So they were like, hey, you want to move across the country during a pandemic and host a show?
Yeah. But the good thing is you don't have gigs.
But exactly. That's the perfect part is that normally I would never be able to do it because we tour so much. And the fact that we weren't touring this year was kind of like, okay, so this is both perfect and not perfect at the same time. Yeah, I just pulled the trigger and moved to LA in July and started hosting Guest House. And it's been an absolute blast. And it's been a blessing to like have somewhere to go every day. I'm sure like you guys feel the same thing. It's like coming into the studio. It's so nice. I know you were saying sometimes you do it remote with some guests, even if it's just the two of you, just like going somewhere. Having a destination is so nice because there were so many months where it was just sitting at home all day, every day.
Like, you know, you have like a schedule. Like, I'm very much, and especially because both you and I know, obviously on tour, it's so routine. Day sheet.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing.
I need a day sheet.
I need that.
Yes.
Like, that's my life. Because I started touring when I was 18, I'm like, that's how I feel the most zen. Like, okay, I know what my day is. Here's the day sheet. Good to go. But when everything, obviously, pandemic happens and things are just like, what do you do? What do you do with your days?
Now you've got no day sheet.
I have to try to make my own day sheet to be like, today I want to maybe work out.
Honestly, maybe you could. Like, I'm putting the weather on it. I'm not going to leave my house, but I'm still putting it on the day sheet.
Right.
Yeah. But honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, you expect like music industry people to be so like, oh, you're in a different like city or a different country every day. So you're like, you don't like schedules. You don't like routines. Like we work weekends. So it's like, you don't know weekdays. And no, I don't have a concept of weekends versus weekdays. But if I don't have a sheet telling me everything I need to know for that day, I'm lost.
Yeah.
When the day sheet is not sent in the morning, if there was like an issue or something, I am stranded on an island in the middle of an ocean in a different universe. Like, I couldn't feel more confused about what I'm supposed to be doing with my life.
Absolutely.
Even if it's the same schedule.
Yes.
Like 7 days in a row.
Because that's the thing. A day sheet will normally, for the most part, be mostly the same. Like a specific outline of it is pretty much the same. But in different cities, you've got different things going on. Especially for you, I'm sure you're like, you've got different interviews you have to do in certain cities. You've got different places you have to be in different cities. So like, we need the day sheet to be like, this is what you need to do specifically at this time of day. And I mean, I'm just so used to that. So I feel so lost right now in life, I feel like.
I also like when they say like the nearest hospital. It's just so comforting.
Right.
Like I'm just like, I know these things.
And then
or if they have a quote of the day.
Oh
like,
my
you know,
God, nearest hospital. I never thought about that. You're right.
Yeah. We just did our first video shoot for like the new Against the Current stuff on Saturday. And it was the first time I'd gotten like a call sheet, which is like kind of like a day sheet. It usually just has the call times. It doesn't usually have the schedule, but it has like, you know, what the weather's going to be like, any extra info you need, nearest hospital, parking info. And I was so soothed by it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so nice, so familiar.
It's so familiar. And like, I don't know about you, but I get so excited when I see like, I always want to look up like the hotel we're staying at or like the nearest, this is the hotel. Do they have a gym? What's it like? Is there a bar there? And then like when they put the restaurants, it's like this restaurant is 0.1 miles away. This one's like 0.3 and you've got to, you know what I mean?
Where's
like
the coffee?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, they always, day sheets are the best. For people that do not tour and want to know what a day sheet is, basically it just tells you everything you want to know for any city that you're in, closest to the venue, I guess.
The tour manager makes it, and it just has like, I mean, every tour manager is different, but it basically has the schedule. On ours, it always says, like, if there's any press, if it's catered or if it's a buyout, like if they're giving you food or if they're giving you money to buy food. Just those kind of things. Yeah. And what time's loadout, if there's like a hard bus call or a hard noise curfew. Yeah. That kind of thing. All that good stuff.
All the good stuff. Oh, I miss it. Now I'm like, I miss a bus call.
I want to make, bus call. What time's bus call?
I had a dream that I was on tour last night. And in fact, I was going to be opening for Pink and I couldn't get my head to stand up, and it kept flopping. That was like my thing. So today I was like, I'm cutting that top off.
Really? Oh my God, that's so
great. It was
great.
a big problem in the dream.
Is that your recurring like bad dream?
No, it's the first time I've ever had it, but I was like good mates with her.
Do you have a recurring thing that's like you know some people do falling? What's yours?
Yeah, mine's just sort of a like trying to climb up a window thing that keeps disappearing.
Interesting.
Really?
I haven't had it for years, actually.
Whoa.
I've had a couple. There's definitely a couple, but I'll say the one because it's definitely obviously related to music. Is it's always me playing with whatever artist that we hadn't rehearsed. And then I'm running to the stage because then it's also like I'm not. So normally you have your like pack connected to you. I always use a hardline pack, so it's always on stage and you have to run on. And I always have to go on early to make sure that I can my headphones in time to hear like the count in.
Yeah.
And my recurring dream is always that I don't get on stage in time to get my pack on, and so then I don't hear the count in, and everyone's like, "We missed the count in."
Oh my god!
And then the other one is that for some reason they expected me to know all the songs, and it was like, "What are we playing?" I have no idea what we're playing. So my dream is always coming on stage, not being plugged in, and not knowing the songs, and just having to like figure shit out.
That's bad.
I'm already tilted about that. Just thinking about that. Mine is just that my teeth fall out.
Oh my god!
I get the teeth. Yeah,
that's a thing, right?
There's a thing about that.
Well, I've actually just had like a lot of problems with my teeth because I broke my jaw when I was younger, and I had to get veneers on my top 10 teeth. And so I'm always so worried about like having to go through any more like shit with them. Yeah. So like that's my thing for me. I'm super cool. I sleep with a night guard. It's like
so do I.
Yeah, it's super sexy.
When I go to the orthodontist and went here and I said, well, I've been wearing it every day since I had braces, and they're like, you've been doing what? No one does that. And I'm like, well, I did it.
Yeah.
So I did.
I like once in a while I'll fall asleep without it. And if I do, I wake up in the middle of the night in a panic. Like the dream, like I'm coming out of a dream that like I've broken all of my teeth and they're all screwed up. And I have to like either play a show or do like a show on VENN the next day, depending on like if I'm on tour or if it's now like. And I'm like, oh my God, like what am I going to do? Like I need to go get dentures for the day. Like
I can feel my teeth have moved if I don't wear it at night. I mean,
me too. Wait,
like
me too.
Two nights in a row if I don't wear it, I'm
you feel it, right?
Yeah, and you put it back in, it's tight, and you're like,
yes,
oh my
it doesn't
God.
fit right. Yeah.
Oh, you feel like the pressure of it?
Like, but mine's not even for straightening. Mine's just to keep me from like grinding my teeth. But because it's molded to me, I think like if there's any shift, I feel the shift. It's super sexy.
Super sexy.
But now, like, see, I've been loving like mask life though, because like now because I had to get veneers, my teeth are so tight that I always get stuff stuck. So I'm like, give me the mask, like I never have to worry about it again.
You can eat at work or anything, and no one knows.
I just put the mask right back on. It's like I have stuff in my teeth. Where you don't know, you don't know.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Yeah, I love that for me. Love that for me.
Love it. So, what have you been up to then? Obviously, you've got your show going on right now on VENN, but what is Against the Current up to currently?
Yes, we've been working on new music like in and out throughout the year, but since moving to LA, I finally got like a little studio set up in my apartment, and we've been writing like all the time. And last weekend, we just filmed the first new video for the first single that's going to be coming out in, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but soon.
Oh, nice.
Really soon. Like a genuine soon, not like a fake soon.
And you've got the album done then?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not even close.
But doing the single first.
But we're doing a song first, and it's kind of like with everything going on, like not knowing officially when touring's going back, and because we didn't have touring plans, we don't know how easy or hard it's going to be to like tour next year. If there is touring next year, like we're not going to be first in line. We're going to be last in line because we didn't have like plans that got canceled. Right. So for us, we're like, all right, we don't need to like, excuse my French, but like blow our load and like release the album like today. Like what's the point?
Yeah.
So we'd rather just, release it. We don't know if it's going to be song by song or if it's going to be like a couple of songs and then a full album or
maybe really EP or something first. Yeah.
We're not really sure yet. We're definitely working towards at some point a full record.
Of course. Yeah.
So, and soon, it's not like 2 years from now there might be an album. Like we are actively like working towards an album. It's just the rollout of it. We're not as stressed as having like this strict timeline where it's like single album.
Right.
Where especially if we don't know when we can tour, because usually you go single, maybe tour first, then drop album, or single album tour.
Right. And I think that's a big thing is because the touring schedule, like a lot of times you're also on the basis of needing to like have an album done before you've got this tour that you had planned.
Yeah,
but if you don't have that going on, and it's kind of like you can do it at your own, in your own time. And also I feel like these days everyone is just releasing single after single after single. And like you don't need to be like single, then album. It can be just all singles, or it could be what you want it to be these days, I think. which is great. And so
it's just so much. I think that's just how people prefer to digest things right now too.
Totally. Let's go into this quiz that we have.
Yeah, we haven't warned you about this, but we have a little quiz, and it's extremely interesting.
You're gonna
sounds terrifying.
Yeah,
it's not.
You're gonna be so upset by. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be so easy for you.
It's gonna be fantastic.
All right. Well, Bowie, am I doing the first question?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah,
ready.
I'm ready.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
So quick.
I mean, you've lit it. Have you seen me today?
I know. Today we had Pepe and obviously Biggie in studio because we're at Adobe, and so the second that she walked out of her car, I went to grab her, and Pepe was there. She didn't even acknowledge. She was like, "Dog."
No, I was like,
yeah, and he just was looking at her right now. Look at he's literally walking across the table now to go say hi to her because he's like, "Oh, she's talking to me." Look at he's like,
yeah, we will post some footage of this ridiculous situation.
He was literally just doing down dog to see her.
I'm the worst. I'm the kind of person that literally does that every time I see a dog. I'm like,
yeah, you've got the dog voice.
but
Me
they
too.
love it. They love it.
The
Look
dog,
at him.
No, look, he's wagging his tail like crazy. He walked across the table. He was sitting at my end, and she just started saying dogs and started talking and was like, Pippa, and he just ran over there, and he's just in heaven now. So
also the fact that they were both babies is like,
very
God.
cute.
They're like teething, and like I love when little dogs teeth because I'm just like, just bite my little finger. He's so cute. He's so cute. He's a little baby.
he's like, yeah, you could bite this.
He's a little baby. And, like the owners are just like, sometimes you get the owners and they're like, no, don't let him bite, and I'm like, why? It's fine. Like, it's fine. I will suffer for this dog's love. Fish was like, yeah, I just don't want Biggie to eat table food. And I was like, all right, never leave your dog with me because I will be cooking it like a 3-course meal.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm the same way with Pepe. I'm like, you eat everything that for as long as I know it's okay for him.
Yeah.
He will eat a little bit of every meal that I have.
Look how cute he is. He's playing.
If you can hear a bone noise, it's
Pepe.
Pepe eating a bone.
Adorable. Get him a mic.
He needs his own mic. I've already told him. I'm like, because he wants to be on air, clearly.
He does.
He's sitting here doing
and you
his
deserve
thing.
it, dude. You're the star.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why he can't have a mic. He would just take over the whole show. Honestly, yeah. We got to even the playing field somehow.
Exactly.
All right, second question, whiskey or vodka?
Whiskey.
Yeah.
100%. I was like looking at you and I was just like, dude, like it's remember that story I told you, like, you know, about the water bottle? It's to this day, it haunts me. Yeah. I took like $150. Not Jameson. Absolutely not Jameson.
I have a bottle of Jameson in here.
We had like Jameson on our rider for too many years on tour.
Same.
And there was this one year that we ended up with like, we were getting more than we could actually drink.
Of course.
And like had like a bottle rack on our bus in the UK and Europe, and there was like 10 bottles.
Oh my God.
Of like, and every night we would like, it was so wasteful. Like at first they were like opening the bottle in the venue because no one would think to like go to the bus and
get the
half,
open one. Yeah.
So there was like 6 half-opened ones, and finally, like our tour manager was like, "No, we have to finish the bottles we opened before you open a new one." And then like our friends band visited us because they lived in one of the cities we played, and we gave them like 6 bottles of Jameson, and we were just like, "Take the JMO, we don't need any more. Like we're good." We took it off the rider halfway through the tour. We were like, "This is getting,
Well, because you're getting these every single day."
Yeah, and they were like, the UK was being good to us. They were giving us like the big boys. You know?
Yeah, like huge bottles.
And we were just like, there's like 3 people that are drinking right now.
I love
like
that.
drinking Jameson right now. Yeah,
that.
It was great.
Bowie needed to be with you. She would have helped finish those bottles off.
Oh, no problem.
Oh, man. All right. Well, whiskey it is. So next question. Beach or snow?
Tough. Yeah. I love the snow.
We do too.
I think like, I say in my old age as if I'm ancient, but in my old age, the ripe age of 25, I just think the beach because like I have like low blood pressure. My iron levels are bad, so I'm just always cold. Yeah. So I just like to be like a lizard and just lay in the sun and just absorb the sun. So maybe beach.
All right, headline or opener?
It depends.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say headline, but like unless it's like
No, we agree.
Are we if we're at like if it's not like okay, headlining like arenas, like if we're saying like realistically like your level that you're at now, like that we're at right now, I would say maybe opening the Fall Out Boy tour was so sick. It was like so much less pressure, but we got to play to sold out arenas every night. Yeah. But we only had to play 7 songs, which is so amazing as a vocalist to keep up to keep up your stamina. Like you're just I mean for everybody, but like for me
7
I was like, wait,
songs, bye.
Yeah, my voice isn't fried.
Yeah.
Like I could keep going. Like so usually headliner though, because it's just like there's just nothing like your own fam. But,
of course,
but it is nice when you're opening like
we get
those
it.
Situations,
especially that like you said a Fall Out Boy tour where you're selling out arenas and then you're like cool 7 songs, did my thing.
Now I can watch and relax.
Yeah, if we're talking about opening up in like venues in like 1,000, 2,000, then I'd probably rather headline to like less people but have it be my own show. But if you're talking about like if the opening is like a club versus an arena, then I'm like give me the arena,
for
you know?
sure.
Give me the catering.
Yeah, exactly.
I like food.
You like in the treatment is just way better on those tours. You know what I mean? It's
just like I love food.
Oh, same.
So it's just like I'm like, what do you mean I get 2 meals a day?
Oh my God, 2 meals? That's not enough.
I was like, tell me more about this. Wait, what do you mean it's not? I mean, there's breakfast too. I'm usually just not up for it.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But like you mean catering is like
but catering, like having catering there.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
2 meals, great.
Yeah, I'm
at the
just
venue.
like, and there's like options and I'm like,
yeah. You're not spending any money. It's great. It's just there for you.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. The last question then.
Okay.
What is on your rider?
Oh, okay. So my personal rider is different than like the band's rider. It's very different. So like I did a couple of things last year that were I think 2 performances like at Worlds, and then I performed the World's anthem in China, and it was just me and my tour manager Lloyd basically. So it was literally the 2 of us. We were, and I think like Gabe came for one. But anyway, so my rider, that's when I get to have a lot of fun. I got 3 cases of Red Bull. I didn't ask for 3 cases, but it showed up.
3 cases.
I didn't ask for 3, but it showed up.
Wow.
So I was really excited about it. So we'll pretend I asked for it. We were the show was in Paris, so croissants were on my rider, and Brie was on my rider.
Brilliant.
I wanted and a bag and baguettes, and I think we just got like some other like assorted cheeses, and then I got tequila. Usually the band goes for like whiskey or vodka, and I'm a tequila girl, but I don't drink a lot on tour.
Yeah.
But it was my own moment there, so I really took advantage of it, and I was like, I was like, give me a bottle of tequila. I don't think I drank any. I think I drank later at the after party where there already was alcohol, but I had that bottle of tequila.
Just in case.
But I always have to have gummy bears because I melt them and drink them. With my voice. Yeah, super weird thing. Everyone's always the same reaction all the time.
So that's like a syrup then, is it?
Yeah, so the glycerin from melted gummies, so you pour like a little bit of water just to cover them, and then you nuke it in the microwave, or you pour boiling water over it, and then the glycerin that's released from the melted gummy bears coats your throat and brings down any swelling. You know how sometimes you're singing and you have like a dry patch at the back of your throat, and obviously like drinking water doesn't do anything for that dry spot because your voice is like your throat is one of the last places to absorb hydration, and it takes like 20 minutes for your body to absorb water anyway. So if you're dry like in that moment, drinking water isn't really going to help you. It's going to like wet your mouth.
I've never heard this. Have you like from other singers? I've never heard this.
So Alicia Keys corroborates this, by the way, and I trust Leash with my life.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, but actually, my vocal coach Ron Anderson told me this, and he's worked with like everybody, and he's currently always on tour with The Weeknd and like doing all the Weeknd stuff, and it was him who told me that. He's like, if you're ever feeling fatigued, swollen, dry, like melt some gummy bears and sip them because the glycerin coats your throat, brings down the swelling and will coat your throat if there's any dry patches. And it tastes good.
I've never had melting gummies.
Right, or like teas or like
or honey.
I
guess honey might be similar, but
honey is similar. I think this works a lot better.
Yeah, it's like actual coating it.
Yeah. It's so good.
And again, it tastes good. You're drinking gummy
Oh my God,
bears.
it tastes so good. But obviously, melt it and then wait for it to cool a little bit. Don't drink it when it's like boiling hot. Yeah, that's not good for you either.
Then
but
you
like
burn your vocal
and you just
cord.
you just sip it and it's so good.
Nice.
That's crazy.
I love it.
Learning
it
something
saves
new
me
again.
so many times. Even if you just like have a sore throat, it feels good. Yeah. But
and so that's okay. So what is that? Everything that you had on your rider?
I'm not very fussy. I think my tour manager made most of the rider because I was just like, I just want my gummy bears and I want some croissants and some baguettes and some cheese.
Yeah,
yummy.
Yeah, and that was it. I know, like on the band's rider, like we always have socks.
That's so funny.
No,
I think
you're not. We've had a
Yeah.
few guests who say socks.
Yeah, because everyone loses socks on tour, or
This
like when
is
you get off
hilarious.
stage and they're so sweaty, you just like you guys never did that.
No,
Our band never did that. In the summer
Really?
set, we never had. No one ever requested
no,
socks.
but we've had guests who say they put socks on.
And
Game
I was always
changer.
like, wow, that's a great idea. I never thought of that.
I think sometimes there was like men's like medium Hanes underwear for like the boys.
For the
Oh
boys.
my
yeah,
God.
but I never requested female underwear. But now I'm thinking I should.
I know, right? For like
Yeah.
female things. Because I think specifically our guys also asked for like white, like Hanes t-shirts or something.
Yeah, I think that might have been on ours. It's like I think that's one of those things that we throw on like once a week.
Yeah,
Or,
right.
like,
when you
you know
can
what I mean?
change. I know, we did the
Yeah.
same thing. And so I was always like, well, I can't wear that.
Yeah.
But I never wanted to be like, I need girls'
Tank
underwear.
top.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Actually,
would
I
want
hate tank
girls' underwear to be delivered. That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. I think at the same
I have
time.
no shame.
Yeah, there you go.
I have literally no shame. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm the worst about that. I think it's because I grew up around so many boys. There was like a point where I wanted so badly to be one of the guys. And then, like, at some point I realized I was like, I'm not a dude.
Yeah.
You know, like, I can get along with everybody, but like, I have a couple different things going on that are just never going to line up. I can't pee in a bottle. It's never going
Right.
to work.
Yeah.
So I started to just kind of own the things that like made me different or like the feminine. I stopped trying to like bury my femininity and like
Totally.
realized it was cool. And like, you know, if someone's boxers can be in the middle of bunk alley and no one has a problem, and like, you know, someone's like, get these out of here, but no one's like, oh my God, they're boxers, then they shouldn't fucking freak out when my underwear's in the middle of bunk alley.
true.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
great.
Also, if you're not in a band, bunk alley is just like the hallway between the bunks on a bus. So
Yeah, and
things fall out of your bunk.
they fall out of your
sometimes.
bunk. There's always a lot of shit. And I will say, also being on tour with a bunch of guys, it's a lot of boxers and socks.
Yeah.
They're falling out of there.
And I'm sick of being like full panic if I notice that my underwear has fallen off. And I wear underwear.
It's underwear.
I admit it.
Yeah.
I admit it. I wear underwear. Believe
Men
it or
know
not.
that we wear underwear as well. So guys, get the fuck used to it if it falls out of our bunks.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Jesus.
I decided that I'm okay with it now. But yeah, so maybe on my future rider, I will request female underwear.
I think I will now too.
I think I will.
I think I'm also now
Start
going to
to
add
make
that.
a stand.
Yep, get me
I
smalls.
want my Hanes boy.
What
I
about like
the boy
variety
cut
pack
kind of undies?
Oh, like they're kind of like, mini shorts.
hipster boy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love those.
Oh, those are. I mean, yeah, those
Those
are
are
the most
so
comfy.
good to wear. Like, so I own like one skirt, but like they're really good to wear underskirts.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I can't free ball it underskirts. I don't know how.
Yeah,
Like
you gotta
like,
be.
I don't want to
God.
feel my butt blowing in the wind.
No.
I don't. I
And
need
as
it
a
covered.
singer, like, what if you wanted to jump in the crowd or something, or I don't know,
Yeah.
like, you know what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah,
You gotta
yeah,
be
yeah.
like,
The
safe
first
of-
time I wore a skirt on stage, I was like in full panic. Even though I had shorts on underneath the whole time. I was just like, what if I rip my shorts?
yeah,
Like what? And then I was like, wait, but then I also have underwear underneath that. Like, so there's multiple layers.
you
here.
gotta have the
Yeah.
layers for sure.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Full
Well,
panic.
now I know I'm adding underwear to my rider.
Yes.
Yes.
And croissants.
And croissants and brie.
Yeah, and croissants and brie.
Specifically when I'm in Paris.
Yeah.
But
They know what they're doing.
oh man, Chrissy, thank you so much for being here. This was so much fun. I'm so glad we got to
you.
catch up and that you and Bowie got to chat and we got to just like know more about your life and your career.
And I got to pet dogs.
And you got to pet dogs.
Yeah.
You got to.
You should have opened with that when you DM'd me.
When I told you, like, hey,
Yeah,
you get to hang out with dogs.
So, like,
but also,
here's the thing: dogs, but also, like, would you mind like talking to for like a little bit? Yeah.
You know what? From now on, that's my new pitch to anyone else that I'm going to ask to be on the podcast.
So
hey guys,
dogs.
so dogs first. Then, can you be on this?
Yeah.
For everyone to follow you, just, you know, to keep up with what you're doing, do you want to give us your Instagram, Twitter,
Yeah.
all those handles real quick?
So it's just at Chrissy Costanza on all social media, and then Against the Current, we're super confusing. I think it's just Against the Current on Instagram, but ATC_band on Twitter.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good to know. Everyone, follow them. Keep up with it. They've got a new single coming out very soon that we don't know the exact date, but I'm excited for it, so you should be too. And yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and this was so much fun. We'll see you soon, and thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you, Pepe. Good night.
Yeah, thank you.